Students, now look at part 3. Let's look at the part 3 of Python Pandas, chapter 1. So just start with the operations which are going to be done on Panda series. So let's look on the system. Students, in today's session we have to look at the operations that have to be done on series object. Like if suppose at any case you want to change the value of a series, like let's look at this series. This was S8 series of Panda, which was having data as 39, 41, 42, 44, and the index was ABCD. Now if at any point I want to change the value of this index position A with instead of 39 I want to put it as 49. In that case, what should we do? We can write S8 directly by the index position only. You can write even A or you can write 0, and instead of this I am giving here 49. But if suppose I want to change the values of C and D together with different values, then in that case also we can use the slicing of the Panda series. So if I write here S8, this is 0, 1, 2. I can write 2 is 2. 2 is 2 means till the end of this series. I want to give them the same value. Suppose I want to give them 50. Now if I want to print my series object S8, and if I run it, what I am getting is A's index position is now getting a value 49, and that of C and D have been changed to 50. So it's very easy to change the values of the Panda series object by using just the index position. Now comes head and tail functions. Head, as the name suggests, means the records from the beginning, and tail means the records from the end. Now if suppose I want to give in head two values that I have to print, then in that case what will happen, it will start printing the values right from the beginning. 2 records will be printed. So let's see how to make use of tail. I am working on this series object only, S8.head, and if I write 2, and that too I am writing in print, and I will remove this print S8. Only first 2 records will be printed. This is head. So in head you can give your own total number of records that you want to see right from the beginning. But instead of head, if I use here tail, so last 2 records will be printed. That means tail starts right from the end and then moves upward. So head and tail are the 2 functions used here. And in example 16 of Sumita Arora also there was a question that a series object TR data consists of around 2500 rows. Write a program to print first 100 rows of the data. So you can write print TR dot head 100, and last 5 rows of the data to TR dot tail 5. Automatically it will print. Even if in the tail or head you do not write any quantity, automatically they will get first 5 records. Suppose I write here only tail. The default value for tail and the default value for head, if you do not specify any number of rows, is 5. Now in tail, if I write here F5, all the 4 records will be printed because default value for tail is printing 5 records starting from the end till the beginning. And in head also, if I write head without any parameter, it will give me first 5 records automatically. Then we should see now arithmetic on series object and some vector operations also. Now if suppose this is my Panda series, before I move on with the vector with any other operation on 2 series of data, let's see how to carry on the calculations. We have seen this previously also in my last video. Suppose I want to print all the records which are just double. I can write directly print S8 into 2. So whatever values S8 has got, 39 into 2, then 41 into 2, then 42 into, then 44 into. So if I run this program with F8, automatically 39 into 2 will give you 78, 41 into 2 will give you 82. So any type of operations you can do on your data series object. If I write S8 into, that means exponentiation, taking out the power of each and everything, naturally the answer will come out to be very big. Because 39 to the power 2, 41 to the power 2, and so on. So these type of vector operations can automatically happen. And if suppose in any case we give a logical operator, if I write here S8 greater than 50, and if I write with F5, if I run it with F5, all of them are false because none of the values that I have given in this series object 39, 41, 44 are greater than 50. All of them are less than 50. So the answer will come out to be false. So if you are using any logical operator, relational operator like greater than, less than, or anything, you can either get true or false. Then comes arithmetic operations on series object. If suppose we have got two series object, let's look at some operations which can take place in various data series. The arithmetic operations as given in the book is addition, subtraction, division. All of them can be supported in Panda series objects. It will calculate result on two corresponding items of two objects. Like if I want to add OB1 and OB2, 1.85 will be added to 1.50. Or it will be multiplied with 1.50. On the matching indexes, that means their indexes should match. If here there are 4 elements, in the next series also there should be 4 elements, and the numbering or the index number should be the same. That is, if first object has indexes 0, 1, 2, then it will perform arithmetic only with the objects having 0, 1, 2 indexes. For all other indexes, it will produce NaN. Suppose this would have contained 5 elements and the index numbering here would have ended at 0, 1, 2, 3. 3 position was not there in OB1. It will return a NaN value if the indexes are not matching. We'll see them a little later. Also, if the data items of two matching indexes are not compatible, like this is having a double or a float value, here also float value, here also float value are compatible. But if one is integer and the other is a double, then in that case, it will return NaN as a result of those operations. So to understand this, presently I have created here 3 Panda series object, and according to the operations given in the book, let's perform some operations. If I write print OB1 into OB3, all the values of OB1 will be multiplied with the values which are present in OB3. That means 1.85 will be multiplied with 2.75 to give you this answer. 12.75 will be multiplied with 12.70 to give you this answer, and so on. And if I write OB1 divided by OB3, so the values of OB1 will be divided by each value of OB3 correspondingly. So this is the answer that you people can get. Right? This was the answer on that multiplication, and this is the answer on division. That means any arithmetic operations can be performed between two Panda series objects only if their index numbers match. That means they have equal number of elements. And if any of the element is non-matching, it will return a NaN value. Suppose in the first object I am writing something like 7.20. So the numbering here ends up at 0, 1, 2, 3. Let's see what the result comes out to be. See, there is a nan value on the 5th position because no such element is present in the OB3. OB3 has got one element less than that of OB1. And now let's see the addition, how it takes place. Again, the corresponding values will be added except for the 5th position because here it will be a nan value. There is no corresponding value present in OB3. Where nan means the missing values, the values which are not present. So example 17 of the book also gives a question that number of students in classes 11 and 12 in 3 streams, science, commerce and humanities, are stored in 2 series objects C11 and 12. That means C11 and C12. Write code to find total number of students in classes 11 and 12 stream wise. So according to the book, how they have created the Panda series, the data will be like putting up the total number of students, and the indexes will be the 3 subjects which have been given, science, commerce and humanities. For both the sections separately they have given. And then if we want to see the total number of students correspondingly in each subject, we'll add both the series. Let's see how to carry on this program. I'll put a hash here because presently maybe I may need OB1 and OB2 and OB3, so I'm not removing them from the screen. I'll create here one series C11 pd.series in which my data will be a list. I can put total number of elements which I desire for each subject. And then the index will be the subjects. What subjects are there? Science, then commerce, and then humanities. C12 also I'll do the same thing. We can copy and paste and we can change the number of students, only have to be changed. Indexes will remain the same because for performing any arithmetic operations on the 2 Panda series, the index number should be the same. Corresponding values of the index should be same. 33 and here I can put 45 and here 60. So the question is saying that you have to print the total number of students which are present in all the 3 subjects. So the best arithmetic operation used will be plus. We write print C11 plus C12. So for science, on the whole 30 and 33 make up 63 students. For commerce 40 and 45 make up 85 students, and for humanities 50 and 60 make out 110 students. So it was a very easy question of example 17. In example 18 they have said object 1 population stores the details of population in 4 metro cities of India. And object 2 average income stores the total average income reported in previous year in each of these metros. Calculate income per capita for each of these metros. It will be carried out in the same way as this question was there. We'll create a Panda series of population as they have given in the book. This is a population Panda series having some population. The index which is there for Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai. Average income, again a new Panda series. And the index for this is also given. So in both the you can say Panda series, the data has been given, then comma, the index has been given, and the index number should match for carrying out any arithmetic operation on the Panda series. After that, the per capita income that is being calculated is average income divided by population. So average income divided by population has been given, and then the population has been printed as the Panda series, in which the index number will be Delhi, Mumbai and Chennai, Kolkata. Then average income will be printed as a Panda series, in which population will be given along with the metro cities. And then the per capita income that has been calculated over here will be printed. So this is the output that will come out, in which both the series have been printed individually. First of all, the population one and the average income. Then here is a per capita income, in which the division has been taken place between average income upon population. Right? Now let's look at the other one. Filtering entries is another topic, in which they have said that you can filter out entries from a series object using expressions that are of Boolean type, that is, expressions that yield a Boolean value. Again, the same thing, that you can use that relational operator greater than or less than, as we have seen a little while ago, in which true or false can be taken out if you compare the values with any given value. So we have already seen. Example 19 is saying, what will be the output produced by the following program? So this is the program that is given. Import pandas as PD, info, pd.series, data is 41 and 51, and print info. So this will automatically print the Panda series with 0, 1, 2 numbering. This will be our first output. Info greater than 40. Only 2 will be printed for true. For 31 it should give false. For 41 and 51 it should give true. And then the third is info, square bracket, info greater than 40. So a new series will be printed. A new Panda series, in which 0, 1, 2 will be given. Before 0, after 0, false will be given. After 1, true will be given, and after 2, true will be given. So let's see what the output is coming. This is the output. In the last one, they have removed the thing which is containing false, and only those values have been put in the info new list, which is giving out true. So sometimes you may get how to give the output of any program. Okay. Now example 20 is there, in which it is saying series object S11 stores a charity contribution made by each section, as we have done previously, that country and section program. Write a program to display which sections made a contribution more than 5500. But natural, you people can use greater than 5500 to return true or false. But we have to create a new list. So as we have seen the example, as I told you, we can create a new list. S11 square bracket S11 greater than 5500. So those values which are going to return true will be stored in S11. Let's see, in this example itself we can see, if I want to print only those values in C11 which are greater than you can say 35, Let's see how we are going to. I want to print only those values. I do not want true or false. So I'll write C11 square bracket C11 greater than 35. And then I'm closing this. F5. So it has created a new list in which only those values are going to be printed which are greater than 35 over here with commerce and humanities. Right? Similar is a question which is given in example 20, in which S11 square bracket S11 greater than 5500 will return you only those sections which are contributing more than 5500. Then comes sorting series values. In order to sort the values, you can write in the you can use a function series sort underscore values. Sort underscore values may the ascending is by default true. If you do not give anything, then it will be by default true. So let's see if this is our program. Automatically it has been in sorted order, but if I want to sort it, we'll write C11 dot sort underscore values. So it's giving me the values in ascending order as it was. If suppose I would have given here the values as in jumbled order in the program, suppose this would have been instead of 30, I would have given something like 50 over here and then 30 over here and then 40 over here, still I would have got the same answer, because sort underscore values may, if you do not give anything, by default it is as ascending order. And if you write here ascending is equal to false inside this bracket, so it is going to return you in descending order. If I write here ascending is equal to false, so I'm getting the answers in descending order. That means if you do not specify anything, everything will be in ascending order. If you specify ascending is equal to false, it will give you in descending order. Now to sort a series object on the basis of indexes, if you want to sort on the basis of the index positions, then you can use a function sort underscore index. So how we are going to use here? Let's see in the program, instead of sort underscore value. So if I write C11 dot sort underscore index ascending is equal to false, what will happen? If I run this program, I am getting signs before, because now importance is given to index. So S is coming before H then C. So index numbering is given importance. If I write ascending is equal to false. If I do not write anything, naturally commerce will come before. Let's remove this ascending is equal to false and only bracket open and close. So commerce and humanities and then science. So this way this section of series has been completed. And some differences have been given between NumPy arrays and series object. So major differences are, in case of ND arrays, you can perform vectorize operations only if shapes of two ND arrays match. That means if the size of the two arrays match, there are 3 elements in one and 3 elements in the other, then only some vector operations can occur. Vector means that into or that power or greater than. Otherwise, it returns an error. With series object, in case of vectorized operations, the data of two series object is aligned according to the matching indexes, and the operation is performed on them. But if the indexes are not matching, suppose one of the series object has got 10 values and the other has got 5, remaining 5 values will be returned as nan because corresponding values are not found in the other series. It will not return an error. Second point is, in ND arrays, the indexes are always numeric. But here in case of series, we have already seen the indexes can be in strings also. And some of the important operations that are left in this section are re-index. To drop out one of the indexes from your Panda series, I can write here C11.drop, and if I write here commerce, so commerce along with its value has been removed. Now only science and humanities have been left out. Right? In reindex, if I try to just change the numbering of science, commerce and humanity, the order, then it can be done with reindex. First of all, in that I think I have given science, then commerce and humanities. If I write here humanities and then science with single quotes, and then commerce, that too I should give in list form because these were actually the list. So the order has changed. Now C11 whenever printed will not show you first of all science or commerce and then humanities. The order has been changed with re-index. So in the next session, now we'll be learning about data frames. This was series. Till now we were doing series, Panda series, and in the next we'll be doing data frame. Hope you people have understood it, and if you have understood, you can press the like button and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.